Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. It's Transformational Tuesday. I am excited about being here. Unfortunately, we missed yesterday with Money Monday, so I'm going to drop a real quick one in there on Money Monday and merge it with Transformational Tuesday. I hope everybody is getting their year off to a great start. If you follow me, if you've paid attention to me, if you're subscribing to any of the channels and platforms or a part of any uh, organization that I head, you know that I've been talking about 2023 since last August. I'm real big on building momentum. I'm real big on being prepared to go into transitional phases in life with momentum, with an understanding of what it is we're trying to do. So we're moving in and we are already aware of where we're going at Rick Wallace Enterprises, the Visionetics Institute, and everything else. But there's always going to be these things. You deal with them, you keep moving. Remember what I always say, no matter where you're at right now, if you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. So with that being said, Transformational Tuesday, we missed Money Monday, so I'm going to start out with Money Monday. Look, this is real brief, real quick. You always see me posting and sharing and talking about the importance of having more than one stream of income, how you need to hedge your primary income against catastrophic loss. You hear me talking about it all the time. You need to have more than one stream of income. That's an old principle in finance. It's not something new. It's something that's been around for a while. But let me explain something to you, and I'm going to be very brief here. Where we are right now and some of the things that we can expect in 2023 with the global market, with simply the way things are being done now in commerce, we can expect some disruptions. We can expect some layoffs. We can expect a number of different things to happen. That's not anything to panic about, but it is something that should prompt you to be prepared. One of the way you prepare guard against loss is by hedging. You hedge against loss by diversity. How do you diversify when you talk about income? Multiple streams of income in diverse industries. In other words, you're not getting all of your money not only from one stream of income, but from one industry. You want to diversify. The beautiful thing about this is one of the easiest ways to diversify is by creating online streams of income, online income. Uh, it's something I've been doing, man, now for 12 years. When I decided that when I was put in a situation where I had to rebuild Rick Wallace Enterprises, man, 12 years ago, 12, 13 years ago, I decided I was going to do it online. It was before social media is what it is now. It was before the internet is what it is now. But I could see it coming. And I had seen enough of the evolution of it over the past 10 years at that time to see where it was going. And I said, this is where I'm going to build my business. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to expand my reach by leveraging the power of the internet. I didn't have a clue of how. I didn't know. I wasn't an expert at anything online, but I was determined that I was going to build an online enterprise because I saw the power and the vast reach of the internet. And here I am 12 years later. My businesses are still operating online. Over 80% of my revenue is generated directly online, the other 20% indirectly, meaning that almost everything I do originates in some way online. Now, obviously, there are the one-off things, but that's that. Um, you need to have multiple streams of income because what's coming in 2023 and beyond is going to demand not only that you have multiple streams of income, but that you be able to adapt to how the market moves at any given moment to hedge and validate and keep your streams of income viable over the long term. In my course, the 7-day online business launch, I teach all that. I'm actually taking that self-paced course this Friday and I'm teaching it live. That's not something I normally do, but I'm doing it this Friday at noon CST time because I want to make sure people understand. I want people how simple it is. It's not, I'm not use the word easy because easy makes it seem like, man, you just jump out there and everything goes smoothly. It's simple in this fact that anybody who wants to start an online enterprise can. The beautiful thing is you don't have to have a lot of startup capital. I created this at a time when I didn't have a lot of startup capital, and I needed to get out there, and it allowed me to do it and then scale out as each business grew. And that's what I teach in this course. Everything you need to know to start a business. I break it down into 10 steps. It's a lot more than that, but I break it down into 10 steps, then a subsection in each step. But what I do is I show you now. The course is meant to be done self-paced. You buy it and you do it, but I'm going to teach it. I'm going to also have a very in-depth Q&A session doing this. I'm also, for a limited time, allowing people who register, I think it ends tomorrow, this particular offer, to have 2 follow-up sessions that are worth $450 each with me. We're not just going to go over what you've learned. These are going to be follow-up sessions. We're not just going to go over what you learned in that course. We're going to go over what you want to do in 2023. We're going to look at where you're at, where you're trying to go. We're going to give clarity to it. We're going to give sense of direction to it. We're going to set goals. We're going to look at behaviors and habits. And in those 2 sessions, we're going to set out to make sure you're successful in your business and in every other goal that you look at, simply by changing a perspective and a focus. I love these sessions. I'm doing fewer of them this year because I need to reach more people. And obviously 1 hour can be given to one person, or 40 minutes to be given to one person. Then that means I can't be touching everybody else. There's no doubt in my mind, with the work I've done with people, that one-on-one is the way to go if I want the biggest impact. The problem with that is I can only work with so many people one-on-one every year, and I want to touch more lives. So I'm going back to live events, on stage, live events, webinars, a bunch of other things, so that I can reach more people. Well, that means I'm going to have less time. That means my time is going to become extremely precious and valuable to me at a level that it hasn't been in a long time. I've been giving a lot of myself away. That's going to be reeled in a lot this year, but I'm doing it for this. So if you want to find out how you can get a business up and online within 7 days, have it to where you can literally promote, I'm going to show you everything from the marketing side, the business planning side, so many other elements that are important: how to gather customer intel, how to set up your marketing strategy, how to set up everything that you need to do to be successful online, and customer retention, understanding the importance of the back end of how you handle your clients, your customers, subscribers, whatever it's going to be that you're going to use to build this. So that's that. So again, if you want to take advantage of this, and to me, it used to be that's what you should do. Now it's what everybody needs to do. If you don't have multiple streams of income, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt, and it won't take long for you to see what I'm talking about. But volatility in the market is not a bad thing when you have an idea of what's going on. That's why we do Money Mondays and Wealth Building Wednesdays. It's about simply gaining an understanding of what's possible and what's happening and why it's happening and what you can do about it. You're never trapped in something when you have a sense of and an understanding of what's going on. So that's that. So Transformational Tuesdays. Look, transformation is change. Life is happening. You're changing whether you want to or not. Things around you are changing, whether you are able to sense it, see it, acknowledge it, accept it or not. Things are changing. You are constantly moving in a direction that moves you from the spot you're in. It may seem stagnant. It may seem like nothing's changing, but you're changing. You're not going to be the same person. Here's the beautiful thing about life, though. You have the ability in managing your thinking, in managing your habits, in managing your behavior to literally control your evolution, to control how you change, to control the direction you travel in. This is what I do primarily for a living. I help people get the most out of their lives as a performance psychologist, as a life strategist, and as a therapist. I help people get the best out of themselves. I help people heal. I help people change their thinking. One of the biggest challenges that I see people who are trying to achieve massive transformation and massive change in a positive way in their lives, the most prominent interrupter is limiting beliefs. I tell people all the time, the only limits you have in this life are the ones you accept with your mind. Your mind is so much more powerful than you could ever imagine. I've spent years and volumes writing about it, lecturing about it, teaching people, working with clients, uh, over 25 books. And I can tell you that the mind is the marvel of the universe. It's only limited by what we accept and what we choose to entertain and how much energy and effort we give to a particular belief. Everything is harnessed within our belief system. When we want to experience emancipation from a situation, we must first emancipate our mind. We must unleash our mind. We must shift from whatever limiting beliefs that have held us in this place. Now, most of us are operating from a hereditary beliefs and experiences that create parameters through which we operate, and we have never challenged the borders of those parameters to step outside of it to see what's possible. We have always believed I can never do that, I can never do this. But when you look at life and you see the people who have gotten on in this world, you see the people who have done exceptional and extraordinary things in this world, when you see people who everybody looks at and goes, wow, all they did was step outside of the parameters of what everyone else thought was possible to pursue what most people thought to be impossible. Now, what they realized is that once they decided to step out of the box, once they started to unleash their mind, once they started to challenge the limiting beliefs that were holding them in place, they found that things were possible. I'll take you back and I'll give you an actual real example. Up until 1954, it was believed, many of you have heard me tell this story before, and I love it because it's really, truly a revelation of the mind. It was believed that you could not run the mile in under 4 minutes. It was called the 4-minute barrier. It was two limiting beliefs that were extremely powerful that simply stopped people from doing it. The first belief was it was impossible. That's a powerful belief. When you believe something is impossible, it becomes impossible. I believe it was Henry Ford who quoted, if I'm not mistaken, Socrates, when he stood up and said, he who believes he can and he who believes he can are usually both right. Well, what does that mean? That means that you're literally choosing by what you believe, what you're capable of doing. It's the operation and the dynamic of universal faith. It's the way God created this entire universe to operate. What you believe in strongly enough, your behavior will reflect. Your behavior will actually produce the outcome of your life. So what happened in 1954? When 1954, Roger Bannister, a miler, decided that he was going to run the mile in under 4 minutes. And he did it. And a few things happened. The first thing is the interview. Everybody wants to know how he trained, what he ate, what he did differently, But I forgot the other belief. The first belief was impossible. The second belief was if somehow you figured out how to run the mile in under 4 minutes, you would never live to enjoy it because your heart would explode. That was the other part, that the reason you couldn't run the mile in under 4 minutes is because the heart couldn't take it. The heart would literally explode. Well, Roger Bannister ran the mile in under 4 minutes. And when they asked him how he ate, how he trained, how he did all this, his response was just explosive to me, understanding what I understand about life. He said, I simply ran it 1,000 times in my mind. He didn't change anything about what he was doing at the track. He didn't change anything about his diet. What he did change was his mind. Now, here's the beautiful thing you need to understand about your mind and your brain. Your mind and your brain do not have the ability to distinguish between what's being imagined and what's real. So your imagination literally creates realities for you that allow you to get outside of the box. It's the first thing. You can call it a vision. You can call it a concept. You can say, I'm conceiving something in my mind. But what you're doing is you're creating a vision for the mind that says, look, I'm doing. And when you're able to imagine yourself doing it, you are literally telling the brain and the mind, I'm doing it. The brain can't tell the difference. The brain can sit up and know big as day, it's just an imagination, but it can't tell the difference. So it's logging it as a memory. The memory is something that's recalled. So when you think about it next time, you think about it as if it's already happened. It's something that's subconscious, and the more you do it, the more it happens. So what he did was he stood up and said, I ran it 1,000 times in my mind. Now we see this over and over again. But here's what else happened. After he was the first one in 1954 to run the mile in under 4 minutes. Over the next 2 years, more than, if I'm not mistaken, 2,000 people did it. And by 1970, 20,000 people had did it. Now you have high schoolers who haven't even developed and fully reached their potential running the mile in under 4 minutes, something that was once believed impossible. And the person who broke that barrier didn't train differently, didn't eat differently, simply ran it in their mind until they believed they had already done it before. And then they did it. The power of the mind. What is holding you back? I call them limiting beliefs. Your beliefs are things, your limiting beliefs are the things that you've adopted over time that tell you what you can and cannot do in this world. Your self-concept is built around these limiting beliefs. What I can accomplish. Maybe somebody told you that you weren't going to be a good student. Maybe somebody told you you didn't have the capacity to be a business owner. Maybe somebody told you you would never master money. Whatever the situation is, you've been operating with that in your mindset. If you believe something is impossible to you, it means that you're not putting any energy and effort into trying to do it. It means that you haven't unleashed your mind and sent your mind out to find all these ways that it's possible so that you can do it. The mind is like Google. The brain is like Google. The mind is what goes into it. So you tell Google, find me all the reasons why I'm going to fail at business. What is Google going to do? Google's going to go out and find all the reasons businesses fail. Is Google going to sit up and say, well, maybe I should also show him all the reasons businesses, him or her, all the reasons businesses succeed, or the ways that they can overcome some of these obstacles? No. Google's going to find what you send it. Same thing with the brain. If you're telling your brain that you can't do it, your brain goes out and constantly finds reinforcement into that. It's called confirmation bias. That's why you got so many people arguing about things, because everything that they believe deeply, they can find. It's magnified when they see it. They say something and then they see it. And so in their mind, it's being confirmed. But what they don't realize, they've locked their mind into a limiting belief, and they're reinforcing that belief by not challenging their mind to move outside of it. Because once you tell your mind it's something more to this, I believe there's something more to this, I can do it, the mind will go find it. The mind will find out what you wanted to focus on, and it will do it. It will literally go out there and find it. The reticular activating system is a bundle of nerves that sits at the base of the brain that literally filters out what we see, what we believe, what's important to us, and it literally prioritizes our desires, our beliefs, what's important to us. You ever sit up and went out and bought a new shirt or bought a new car, and once you bought it, it seems like everywhere you look, you see it? It's not that it wasn't there at first. It was that your brain didn't have it as a priority. When you go out and spend money on something, you tell your brain you like it enough to spend money on it. And without you even having to emphasize it, the brain understands by all of the experiences in life that when you put an emphasis on something, it means something to you. So all of a sudden, the brain starts to identify it. It's always been there, but you just didn't see it because you hadn't told the brain it was important. Same thing. If you tell the brain that it's important that you find all the ways that you can succeed in finance, all the ways you can succeed in business, all the ways you can improve your marriage, all the ways that you can grow as a person, all these things that everyone has told you or you have taken on a belief that you can't do, when you tell your brain that that's what you want to focus on, guess what your brain does? Your brain starts to focus on it and go out there and get it. I created limiting beliefs, crushing limiting beliefs, as a means of helping people step by step get past that. And I want to help as many people as possible do that. But what you got to do is, I love this particular passage of scripture, and it's so deep spiritually, but it's so embedded in the science of psychology long before there was a science of psychology, that it's unbelievable. And it is 2 Corinthians chapter 10, starting at verse 3. It says that though we walk in the flesh, we do not war according to the flesh, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty in God for pulling down strongholds, casting down arguments, and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity, into the obedience of Christ. What is it saying? It's saying that there's something beyond what you can see, something beyond the physical, something beyond what we can touch, what we consider to be tangible, that's more powerful than the physical and the tangible. And that's where we wage our war. We wage our war in our mind. The mind is the battlefield. And it says that you're casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself well against the knowledge of God. Well, the knowledge of God for me is that I prosper. The knowledge of God for me is that I'm capable. The knowledge of God for me is that I am able to overcome and accomplish anything that I set my mind to. So then what? Then I cast down any argument, any suggestion, anything that sits up and is presented to me in way of imagery, in way of conversation, in way of words that suggest that I can't. I am refusing it. I am rebutting it. I am pushing it back. The term that the old folks used to use is I rebuke it. I'm pushing it back. I'm not receiving it. But then it doesn't stop there. It says, after it says casting down arguments and everything, high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, it says bringing every thought into what? Captivity. I must control my thinking. I'm responsible for how I think. My thoughts are the seeds of my destiny. My thoughts have physicality. My thoughts are what's going to produce and manifest the reality for me in the future. What I'm thinking now will ultimately end up producing my physical reality. So I have control over it. Now, I don't have control over every situation, every circumstance, everything that's happening, because there's a lot of things going on that other people are moving around in the world I'm operating in, but I control how I process it, how I confront it, how I deal with it, how I master and overcome it. There's absolutely nothing that can hold you back except the things that you believe can hold you back. Doesn't mean you're not going to have challenges, meaning that they can't hold you back. Doesn't mean there won't be disruptions. Doesn't mean there won't be delay. Doesn't mean there won't be frustration. What it does mean is that no matter what you do, you can't stop it. One of the most unbelievable explanations of destiny I've ever heard came from the movie Deja Vu with Denzel Washington, Paula Patton, and they're trying to stop this, go back in time actually, and stop this bomber from bombing this ferry. And Denzel has found a way to get back in time, and he's sitting in front of this guy, and he's trying to figure out a way to stop what's happening. And he's looking at this guy, and the guy looks at him, and he asks him a question. He says, "Do you understand? Do you know the definition of destiny?" And Denzel says, "No, what?" He says, "The more you try to stop it, you only ensure that it happens." And I just said that that's destiny. It's destined. The only person that can stop your destiny is you. First, you have to become acquainted with your purpose. You have to become acquainted with what you're capable of doing. You have to become acquainted with the best idea about your life. So many people are holding on to dwarf goals and colorless dreams. So many people are holding on to minute ideas of possibilities based on what mom said and dad said and what cousin so-and-so and grandma was able to do, that we have locked ourselves into the boundaries of past experiences and performances of other people. And we have not explored the possibilities of what we're capable of doing. Crushing limiting beliefs is the ability and to sit up and say, this doesn't work for me. I'm going to replace this limiting belief with a liberating belief. This isn't allowing me to move in the way that I want to, so I'm going to replace this restriction with freedom to move, to think, to expect, to demand. You shall declare a thing and it shall be established for you. That you shall speak it in force and believe it, and it shall be established. And then you must go in, seize it, and possess it. But it is something that you start with your thought. Your thoughts have physicality. When I have my thoughts, I'm thinking about what it is that I want to accomplish. I'm establishing within myself my direction. I'm setting the belief pattern. I'm setting what I need and what I should anticipate. And then my words, my self-talk is going to be a reflection of that anticipated idea about the future. And then when I speak it, I am declaring it. And when I declare it, I literally set in motion a physical explosion within the universe that moves it towards me. I simply have to stay in place, continue to work it, continue to believe it, continue to stand in it, and continue to operate in it. What I'm telling you is it's time to break free of those limiting beliefs. It's time to crush them. It's time to overcome them. It's time to shake free of them. It's time to cast down every argument that exalts itself against the knowledge of God for your life. It's time to bring every thought into captivity, into the obedience of Christ for your life. It is time for you to establish, speak it, and designate it in your life. It's time for you to get out of it. And I'm hoping that you'll take advantage of this. Again, this is another opportunity to work with me, because not only with this course are you going to get 15 modules, 5 hours of lectures by yours truly on it, on how to overcome it, on what to do, how to recognize opportunities, how to do so much. 5 hours of lectures, 15 modules that literally walk you step by step through the process of breaking, crushing, and crushing beliefs. But you're going to get 2 $450 sessions with yours truly, which will allow you to work with me so that we can go over all of the things that you've learned. We can set a pattern, set a course, determine a clear direction for 2023. The goal is to not leave 2023 the same way you entered. The goal is to not be meandering through the labyrinthine corridors of life in 2023 in any way similar to what's going on in the past. The goal is to change trajectory, change direction, change mindset, change focus, change expectations. God meets you at the level of your expectations. So there are 2 powerful opportunities to not only learn through courses, but also learn with me. They're in the description box. I hope that you take advantage of them. But if not, I hope that you gain something from what was presented here. But here's the idea. What you focus on, you will feel. Wherever you give your attention, that's what you're going to create. If you start focusing on the problem gets bigger. If you focus on the solution, the problem shrinks, and you eventually come into the reality of the solution. All of this is going to be completely up to you. What I do is I help people clear the path. I help people expedite their journey towards the life that they want to live. I want to be a part of that. This is one of the introductory ways of getting that done. Obviously, I have some larger programs, one-on-ones. Like I said, I'm not doing a lot of those this year, but the ones I do are going to be costly. My platinum package is $13,995. Obviously, that's not for everybody, but for those of my clients that have taken it, it has been a blessing for them and for me. But this is an opportunity to do it at a much more affordable space and have access, but also gain knowledge. I'm real big about teaching people. I don't want people to be eternally dependent upon me. I want people to learn why they do what they do, why I'm saying do this. Why am I asking you to do this? Why is this important? I want to teach you so that now not only can you change your life and you know what you to do next time when you're no longer working with me, you can help somebody else. That's the way we do this thing. We change the world by becoming infectious. And that's my goal. So I'm hoping that I'll hear from some of you guys. But whatever you do, you've got to change your focus. You've got to change and approach and deal with those limiting beliefs. On that note, look, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. You guys have an unbelievable remainder of your day. It's been a blessing to be here with you. Take care.